Hello, everyone, and happy Friday night. Thanks for joining us on the Franchising 360 show. I am Tim Parmeter, and with me, as always, is Danielle Wright.
Yeah, I'm here today. Yep. Hi.
Yay. So, Danielle, we're like less than 2 weeks away from Christmas.
Yes.
What'd you get me?
Weird. Nothing. Was I supposed to get you something?
You got 2 weeks. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get my list on Amazon?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll
I might have, but I might have deleted it.
I'll resend that.
Here,
Happy
go
to post
here.
that on the Franchising 360 show website too, if anybody else wants
I'll
to.
get you a mug. You're good.
Oh, sweet. Cool. We have got a lot to talk about tonight. Not
we?
nearly as fun as what you're going to get me for Christmas. But last week we had an entire episode about how to take your business and turn it into a franchise.
Okay.
And
Thanks
did
for
you,
reminding
did you
me.
forget already?
It's been a while. It's been a week.
It has been a long week. And so we talked about one of the things in there was the legal stuff. And you threw out, there's all these fun letters in franchising, FDD and a franchise disclosure document.
Yes.
So, and these
Thanks
are
for the reminder.
These are big things, right?
They are big things.
So-
size, expense, time, all big.
And riveting reading also.
By fighting insomnia, it's the best thing to
Yes,
start cracking open.
That's we tell our clients all the time when you're reading it, if you're having a hard time falling asleep, bust out the FDD and 5-10 minutes, better than melatonin.
Yep. I mean, my first entry into franchising was reading every FDD for every QSR burger concept. Oh, yeah, that was riveting.
Oh, wow.
Super fun.
And you didn't quit franchising right then.
Not at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I was told to do it. Let's go.
So let's talk a little bit about the again, FDD franchise disclosure document.
Yes.
And we'll get into some details with this, but just at the beginning, let's kind of talk the history of it. What the heck is this thing?
Okay. Well, as we spoke on the last episode, I do recall, jogging my memory, the franchise disclosure document is a document that you are legally required to have per the Federal Trade Commission in order to award or sell your franchise business.
And the Federal Trade
did that
Commission,
good, right?
that was awesome.
Okay.
The Federal Trade Commission. It's also adorable that you think everybody watching tonight clearly watched last week's.
Yeah, they should.
But maybe somebody missed it. They forgot. I don't know.
Yes.
They were in the hospital, perhaps.
Oh, that's sad.
But they're better now, so
That's
it's
a way
okay.
to go.
It's okay.
So
when
weird.
we think about the Federal Trade Commission, why that matters is they regulate
Franchising, right?
the whole
To make sure
industry.
that you, Mr. Tim Parmeter, don't go buy a Tim Subs and fall on your face.
So what's ironic about this is you and I combined been in franchising for 25 years.
Yes.
And we've joked about this before. Have you ever once met anybody with the Federal Trade Commission?
No, I have not.
So we think it's Milton from Office Space.
It's not, but they've got a really big building in DC. We saw it.
And we took a picture of that. And
Yes.
like, here's the picture.
And they set a lot of rules and things that we've got to follow that we just follow.
And so, but again, why is the FDD and kind of the legal side of this important?
It's really super important today. It's always been important, but it protects you. You're getting ready to invest $100, $200, $300,000 or millions of dollars. Right. And it's something to make sure that you're given as much information as we can possibly give you to help you make the best business decision for you and your family. So there have recently been a lot of crazy things with franchise disclosure documents and franchisees and failures. Like, that's a word I know we don't like talking about, but it's a reality.
Right.
Not
It does
everything is
happen.
100%
Right.
successful 100% of the time. So the FDD is super, super, super important. It's not something that you as a person, I or our viewers are just going to pick up and read and understand it.
Right.
So the goal is to use a professional to help you understand the terms, work with the people in the franchise to understand what it means, and realize, guess what? It is a document that does not get negotiated. So
Right. Yeah. So it's
that one's burning for a little bit for me right now.
It's protection on both sides, really,
Right.
the franchisor, but also it's protecting you as the potential franchise owner. And these things are renewed or kind of updated and kind of approved by every state
Again,
every year?
Anything that's under regulation, as this is, you have to update the information. Maybe I award 15 new franchisees. You need to know that. You
Right.
need to know how they're doing.
Maybe they all failed right
or
away.
maybe they all magically succeeded. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
The mind always goes to the failure, but the truth is it's pretty rare in this, but it does happen. But there's if we're talking about a 200 page plus document, there's a lot of little nuances in here. So
Yes.
let's kind of pick apart some of the things in here that
you're
are going to be
getting my
key.
little brain all excited. I love an
I know
FDD review.
You love those. So come back here in a couple minutes, folks. We're going to dive into some specifics inside the FDD, what it means to you, and how to find those things. That's next on the Franchising 360 show. All right, we are back on the Franchising 360 show. We are talking about the fun legal stuff involved in looking at a franchise, this thing called the FDD. Feel like we need some dramatic music with this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's not do that again. So there's a whole bunch of things in the FDD. I want to talk a little bit about what's in there, but also what's not. So who's
going to take what's in and what's not?
So you're going to take about what's in. I'm going to take about what's not.
Got it.
I'm glad we planned that ahead of time. And
Yes.
so in there, for reasons that defy logic, instead of calling them sections, they are called
Items.
I'm
Yes.
sure there's a reason, but there are
If there is, I don't know it.
how many? Milton from the Federal Trade Commission, he knows. But talk us like how many of these items are there and kind of what are we finding in there?
So the setup of a franchise disclosure document to your items piece, the way that you look at the document is there are 23 items, and those are typically what I call the Cliff Notes version of your franchise agreement. And then there are exhibits to the document, which make it very large because you're going to have a copy of a franchise agreement. That is the thing you will sign that says, I'm going to operate this business and give you money for it. Then there are development agreements, which if you're going to go in and say, I'm going to open 5 of these Jersey Mike locations, you're going to have to do that in a timeline. So there's a development agreement template in there. Audited financials, the franchisor has to show you behind the curtain information about the franchise entity. And then as far as states, there are various states that have certain regulations on top of what the Federal Trade Commission allows, and that information is in there as well. But the 23 items are basically giving you the high level information on the brand, things about the leadership, litigation, if they've been in any kind of litigation, as far as the investment level, the fees, the things that you will incur during your ownership, what the franchisor is responsible to you as a franchisee, and then what the franchisee is held accountable for in operating the business. And the best section is, how the heck do I get out of it? Like if I get into it and I don't want to do it anymore, what's the means for me to exit? Or if the franchise doesn't want to keep you as a franchisee anymore, in there as well as the stuff about like how they're going to like kick you to the curb.
And this is again the protection piece of it, right? And
overall protecting the brand.
A lot of the language,
not the people.
A lot of the language in the FDD can sound a little harsh or one-sided.
One-sided.
Right? We get our clients all the time talking about reading through the FDD and go, man, this is really one-sided for the franchisor. And I'm like, maybe, but if you read it as if you are a franchise owner, it's actually then protecting you as long as you're the franchise owner that's doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
It really, then it's your brand also, it protects you.
And I think the misconception is it's the franchisor that it's protecting. It's not. Like, see this brand on this mug? It's protecting that brand image. The franchisor may change. If I own the brand and I'm the franchise and I sell it to somebody else, or someone else comes in and runs this, it's not me that it's protecting. It's the overall brand trademarks is what you're licensing.
So you come in and buy the franchisor, and I'm a franchise owner.
Right.
The brand is the same. Everything is going to be the same.
Brand is always going to say the same.
Right.
Something's going to happen to the people, but the brand should always stay the same.
Yeah. So but it is. There are some times in there that people do get a little caught up in that, right?
And that's hard because it's a lot of money.
It is, and it's okay because there's things in there that kind of like talk about failure, but like if you're going into something, you want to understand, and again, it's not failure, but just that exit plan could be positive. Hey, I've ran this for so many years and I'm ready to sell. What does that look like?
Saying the end in mind, right?
Right.
That the end is near in some form or fashion.
Right.
How do we plan for it?
And there are certain section or items in there rather that are talk about a little bit about the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a specific one called an item 19, and that is what we call the financial performance representations. It's telling a story. Like we always tell, and I think you guys tell your clients this, and I tell candidates the same thing. This is just another tool in your toolbox for you to use to make a business decision. Right. It is not finite. The only thing that is finite is like, in the event I want to kick you out or you want to kick yourself out.
Right.
Those are very clear verbiage in those sections, but the rest of it's just a toolbox guide to success.
Yeah, because the money side in there is not the end all be all. It's not exact. And so
I generally tell people, if you see charts, read the footnotes.
Right.
Good CPAs tell you all the time, the charts are really pretty. Our eyes really love them. But the meat of what you need to know is in the words that you don't want to read. Yeah,
and being able to do the math. So when we come back, let's talk a little bit about
math.
The other side of this is what's not in there.
Okay.
And then what's like, when does this thing come up as we are looking at a franchise?
We're talking about a word and it may not,
right.
Exactly.
So,
where does it come?
So those two things and probably something else surprising after this on the Franchising 360 show. And we are back on the Franchising 360 show, enjoying this Friday night with Danielle Wright.
That's me.
And when you are thinking about something amazing to do on a Friday night, besides tuning into the show, because it's only 30 minutes.
At 8, because it's already dark.
This is Biz TV after dark.
Really dark, yeah.
And so definitely want to read FDDs just for fun, I think, typically.
Yeah, sure.
We talked a little bit about what's
late night reading.
Some of the things that are in an FDD.
Yes.
But what's not in there? Can we talk about that?
Sure.
So
sure show.
Well, cool. Let's talk about that then. And one of the things from our perspective at FranCoach with the clients we work with, and then they're getting one of these things, and we'll talk about when that comes up through the process. But there's sometimes the thought that, oh my gosh, this is the thing that's going to tell me.
You think you're getting an aha.
Right.
That's what you're getting at? Like, I shouldn't buy this. Or, I should buy this.
And I cannot even begin to say how many times I have said the phrase, there is nothing, and I mean nothing in the FDD that's going to tell you which franchise to buy.
Okay.
Because the main thing's in there, right? You're like, well, why not? It's this big, important thing. And, you talked about some of the things again, like the leadership team and the litigation and the financials of the brand protection. You know what's not in there? What the owner role is.
Oh, well.
Is it really the day-to-day? What's in there? The people you're around, the things within the franchisor?
The day-to-day. No, you are correct.
You have the basic responsibilities of
running the business.
Yes. But the difference between owning a cleaning business versus owning a sandwich shop or all of those things, that true like day in the life we're going to get later in validation calls.
That or in your discovery process before you get the FDD.
Right?
But
yes. But you can easily get caught up in like, oh my gosh, this is the thing that's going to tell me like you said, it's going to give you that aha thing.
You think you've found what is it? The hidden gem in that document.
The X marks the spot and there's your treasure and it's the FDD. And
it's not.
It's just
actually the thing that kills a lot of deals for a lot of people because you get too caught up in some of the stuff. And the reality is what we say, once you sign it, you generally throw it in a drawer. Not really, because we don't print them much anymore, but you put them in a file somewhere, and the only reason why you will ever pull it out is why? Do you know why?
Something bad happened.
Right. Or I want to get out.
Or you're ready to sell.
Right.
Right.
So exit plan.
Right.
You pull it out with the exit plan.
But I think too, the other thing that it's not is a full picture financially, right? There's going to be item 5, 6, 7 are going to talk about those kind of fees and costs associated with the investment.
Right.
We talked about item 19 this is the revenue stuff, but it's just a piece of the puzzle.
Correct.
Right. That again, you mentioned like the kind of the cliff note, or not the cliff notes, but like
the cliff notes version of the franchise agreement.
But the asterisks and all of the things that go with it. We really have to go through other steps to fully figure out the financial piece.
Right. But any decision that anyone's going to make, just know you're going to be powered with 70 to 80% of it. There's
Right.
always that 20% variable that isn't going to be in an FDD, isn't going to be in a validation talking to existing owners. It isn't going to be in a conversation you have with the CEO or the founder. It's not even going to be in a conversation we have with you. Like,
Right.
it's literally you're the 20%. Like, can you, will you, and should you?
Do you
Like,
wanna,
right.
And kind of what's the why behind wanting to do all of that anyway,
Right.
So the money piece is every franchise in there. A lot of it is if you look at one FDD, you look at another, they're very, very similar.
Right, because it's regulated by the Federal Trade Commission.
Right.
There is a template for the FDD.
But bizarrely, one of the areas that it's not really all that regulated and is a little Wild West is the money section,
Yeah.
especially the item 19 with the
A
revenue.
little regulated, but not to your point. Wait, like I think you're trying
But
to.
you can see 3 FDDs and see 3. One may not have anything in there. One
Correct.
may talk about top line. One may get into the weeds on
Yeah, you may
every
get
last
full
thing.
P&Ls.
Right.
Yeah, profit and loss statements for those that may not know what that is, but you may get brands that show you a full P&L. It may be of a corporate location. It may be of a franchise location. The key with the item 19, and I think we're going to have a legal professional on at some point, so
Yeah.
she'll go into greater detail, but you have to be able to validate that information either through audited financials or the information was pulled from franchise owners in a collective software program.
Right.
Like there are a lot of benchmarks that you have to be able to have it. And a lot of times people don't put them. Like there are a
Right.
lot of franchises that don't have an item 19. And I
Right.
would tell people, don't let that scare you. What should scare you if they have franchise owners that are not talking to you?
Right. You and I will both probably agree on this. Sometimes the less information in an item 19 can be better.
Yeah.
Right? Which is counterintuitive to what you would think.
Most
Because
of the people in our world love them, and I've sold multiple brands without an item 19 to the same point.
Right.
If your franchise owners love what you're doing and they talk about how much money they're making, then I don't need an item 19.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's going to mean every one of our franchise friends that are watching this are like, no, don't say that. Oh,
it's probably because they don't have the best or happiest owners in the world,
Well,
perhaps.
you
But
know.
there's a part of the process when you are looking at franchises called validation calls,
Yes.
which is a whole nother thing
Whole
we'll
nother
talk about.
episode.
But where you do actually get to talk to owners aren't like, sometimes people will think the franchise is, they're just trying to sell me the franchise,
yeah.
right? I mean,
The answer is yes.
sort of, but
Yes.
it's mutual, right? But the owners don't care if you become a franchise owner, and
Right.
sometimes they're the most
Well, yeah.
sometimes the most protective person in that whole journey is a franchise owner, making
Yes.
sure you're not going to come in and mess up
Their
their
system,
brand, right?
correct.
From that standpoint. So you definitely get a lot more there with that. But when does this come, right? This FDD come in this process along the way? Let's hit that up when we come back
Yeah.
and kind of wrap everything up here about the franchise disclosure document here on the Franchising 360 show. Welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter with Danielle Wright.
Yes, I'm still here.
We are still here. Hopefully they are still here.
I hope so.
Because how would you want to miss the conclusion of the episode about the franchise disclosure document?
Dun, dun, dun.
So we talk about kind of what's in it, what's not,
Uh-huh.
who regulates it.
Yeah.
When do we get this sucker?
Whenever you ask for it.
Okay.
Technically, that's not how it's supposed to go. Technically, when you submit information like your phone number, your email, your lovely name, whichever one you're giving me today, I have to give you the document. If I'm going to talk to you about anything about the franchise, I need to give you the document.
So you know you're going to get it, but like everything
Correct.
within a franchise is what they're looking for is somebody that can follow a plan.
A plan.
Right? Not every franchise is going to share this at the same time
Right.
during that journey. Because if we just stop for a second, like once you get connected to a franchise, whether you go on your own,
Yeah.
which don't do that, come to FranCoach. Just saying.
Okay.
So whenever you get connected to that franchise, that vetting process could be 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, there's
longer.
sometimes a dozen or more steps, right? And that's average. Not every franchise is going to provide that FDD at the same time, correct?
Right, because they want to give you some education and understanding before you go open up the very scary, large document full of a lot of legal terms. They want to kind of, they're using it as a vetting process.
Right.
If you can follow the steps of the process, show up for calls, learn more about the brands, and then get the FDD and then be open-minded to, wait, have a conversation.
Right.
And so they're legally required to give it when you ask for information. So if you're not willing to walk through the steps, but you really want the FDD, you can ask for it and they are legally required to give it to you.
Right.
But you really want to go on a journey and a path of research with someone.
Right.
And it better be the brand or like a support person like yourself that
Right.
can kind of say, did you ask this question? Do you understand this? Because like I said earlier, it's a document that doesn't change. Like most contracts you feel like you can negotiate. This is not a negotiable document. But I also challenge people like, how many of you actually read the terms of your loan agreement when you bought a house?
Right.
I didn't. Did
Right.
you? Like the whole, right.
No.
So FDD and the franchise agreement are
Because
kind of
nothing's
the
going to
same.
change when I'm
Nothing's
buying the
gonna
house or the car,
change
right?
with the loan document
Right.
from the bank giving you the money.
And I know you and I kind of agree to this. So like, I personally don't like it when franchises give that right away because it's a scary thing. And again, there's
right.
nothing in there that's really going
Right.
to tell you if that's for you.
Well, and what your world looks like. Again, it's
Right.
the get out of jail. How do I get out of jail document?
Right.
Like, or how much money is this really going to cost me to open? I see these really wide ranges of investment, like
Right.
200,000 to 400,000. Well, where will it really sit for me? I don't really want to borrow 400,000. I'd rather keep it closer to 200,000.
And what happens if I'm an owner and I'm doing great and now you come in as an owner in the same and you're messing everything
Yeah,
up?
I want to call Tim's shop Danielle's shop. I don't like Tim.
Right, exactly. And nobody does, but that's still the name of it because it's in my FDD. So this big, massive legal document then kind of comes to the next question. Geez, should I have some sort of legal professional help me with this?
Yes and no, right? Like the right thing to do is if you have any concerns or questions and you don't feel like you're getting the information you want from the people you're talking to, then yeah, sure, engage a franchise attorney, not just any
Wait,
attorney.
let's say that again.
Franchise
Franchise attorney. Why is that?
Because franchising law is different than regular law, and so
Just like
I've just always been told, get a franchise attorney.
Yes, if you go through a divorce and you're going to use that accident attorney that you use that got you a really nice
Well, it
settlement,
was kind of an accident,
you're-
right? Like I
right.
accidentally married somebody, but I got it. I
Yes.
understand what you're saying.
But really, that it's key. But it's required, but more tends to be more at the, or not required, but tends to be more at the end when you're now kind of looking over that franchise
You're going to
agreement.
kind of check to somebody. You really want to make sure what I'm getting.
Right. And so it's not anything negotiable, but you're doing it more from a perspective of peace of mind, kind of clarity of the language. Like, am I getting screwed over? Kind of
Right.
like, for lack of a better way to say it.
Well, and just clearly understanding the legalese. It's anything. Like
Right.
I'm not an attorney. You're not an attorney.
Nope.
I understand some of the language, but I don't understand all of the language. And so peace of mind is what you're buying.
Yeah.
Like when you engage an attorney, you're buying peace of mind, not the aha gotcha moment.
Right. And fortunately for everyone, this is the Franchising 360 show.
is the 360
so
show.
here in a couple of weeks, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should have a franchise attorney come on and talk to us about.
Shocker.
Now, she might be a little bit more biased on whether you should use a franchise attorney
Yeah.
or not.
Okay.
But one that we know is an absolute expert and awesome at explaining everything.
Yeah, she helped us
Yes. So
lots of times.
And so let's talk about that. But that's really kind of the FDD and what it is, what it's
Yeah.
not, and when we
Well,
get it.
thanks for doing the most exciting episode for me. Sorry, all the rest of them have been great. Yeah, wonderful.
So this is your favorite one.
I love the FDD.
And do you need me to resend you my Christmas list now, or should I wait till later?
I think the jury's still out on whether you should get coal.
Okay. Well,
I know that doesn't answer your question.
if anybody else would like to, the franchising360show.com, here's a cute little QR code. We'll send you a gift, one of these nice little mugs, if you want to send in a question to us. Have any questions, have any comments, please only the positive ones. We're still very fragile. We're kind of new at this. But
the negative ones are fun too.
But next week, how about we do this again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
Next Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Biz TV. It will be the Franchising 360 show. We'll see you then.